first, a couple of words from our sponsors.
Thanks for watching. And back in 2014, I had a student who told me, Payam, you should start a YouTube channel. And I was like, what? Me? Never. I am not a technology person. There's no way I'm gonna do it. How amazing is it that 8 years later, I would give a talk about YouTube? And with this, welcome to my talk.
Welcome to my channel, Dr. Payam, which currently has 115,000 subscribers and over 922 videos. On this channel, I present a variety of math videos ranging from calculus to linear algebra, from analysis to PDEs. Some of my most popular videos include a really cool way of solving quadratic equations that Po-Shen Lo at Carnegie Mellon University taught me, who might be in the audience. Hello. Cosine of x equals 2, which I'll talk about soon. Integral x to the x as a power series. Half derivative of x? Yes. And I also have some cool playlists ordered by topic or course, like calculus, linear algebra, multivariable analysis. And in fact, to kindle your interest, let me show you a little clip for my cosine of x equals 2 video, where I use complex numbers to solve this equation.
Can you solve cosine of x equals 2? Your calculus teacher said you can't, but actually you can. But wait, Payam, isn't cosine between -1 and 1? Yes, it is true if x is real, but false if x is complex. And in fact, let's now dive into the complex world, because cosine of x is just a hidden version of e to the ix plus e to the minus ix over 2. Think almost like caution sinh, quite interestingly. And you set this equal to 2, and then let's cross multiply to get e to the ix plus e to the minus ix equals 4. And it turns out this will become an equation that you will be able to solve.
All right, for the rest you can watch my channel. And I even make other fun videos such as 111 true-false linear algebra questions, in case you think 100 is not enough. And even videos in different languages such as German, French, Finglish, Spanish, Russian, you name it. Last but not least, I really want to share this with you because it's super cool. But even Steven Strogatz from Cornell tweeted about me saying, just discovered this new math channel, Dr. Payam, low production value, high mathematical value. Which is true. It's surprisingly easy to make YouTube videos. This really means anyone can make a YouTube channel. Yes, you can make one. You can make one. Even you can make one. And you have to understand, this comes from a true skeptic. Remember the stuff I talked about at the beginning of this talk? If I can make a YouTube channel, you definitely can. I'm not a technology person. Of course, I could talk for hours about my channel, but instead, let me share some creative ways you could use a YouTube channel in your teaching. First of all, you can make playlists with practice problems or review problems. And that's precisely what I did at the end of fall 2018 when I taught multivariable calculus. Before the final, I did a lot of problems covering the final exam material, and I put it in this vector calculus playlist, for instance. We have an example with Green's theorem, with Stokes' theorem, divergence theorem, you name it. And then, even during the semester, what you could do, very easy, after you taught your lecture, you can simply record videos based on your lectures, which is super useful for the students, I promise. Because they could not only use those videos to prepare ahead for lecture, but most importantly, if there's a topic they're confused on, they can just use that video to clarify some concepts. And even before the final, before the exams, they can use those videos to prepare for the exams. And in fact, let me show an example of what this looks like. And that's for my current multivariable calculus class. For instance, you can write lecture notes on Green's theorem, for instance here, and have some videos with examples of Green's theorem, which you can talk about in the lecture notes. So super, super useful. Another very creative idea you can use, especially if you crunched in time for your classes, is to have YouTube review sessions. What do I mean by that? When I taught advanced linear algebra, I was very crunched on time, and I didn't have time to do an actual review session. Instead, what I did, I typed some problems up. Like here's a very classical question on unions of subspaces, and I made a video on the solution of this problem. So it's really, no pun intended, isomorphic to a review session. The only concern you may have is what if a student wants to ask questions? No problem, because they can comment with questions, which also leaves a little trace in case other students have the same questions. So I thought it was very useful. And this is more for advice before the pandemic, but remember, that was before the pandemic, which is virtual office hours. So in fall 2019, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., I would tell my linear algebra class, here's a link to virtual office hours, be there or be n by n, be there or be squared. And once they click on that link, they're virtually teleported to my office hours. And let me show you a little clip of this, just so you can compare it with Zoom office hours. Minus y over x squared plus y squared, and then x over... So you see, here is me in front of my whiteboard solving the problem, and at the same time, the students, they comment with questions via the live chat feature. And by the way, I would see the questions because I also have my computer next to me, so I can also see them in real time. And believe it or not, students prefer that so much more to Zoom office hours, because I think it's much more streamlined that way, and you can make sure you don't miss a question really. And you know, it's YouTube, it's cooler, I would say. And finally, you have to understand all this is before the pandemic. So it was really in spring 2020 where my channel helped me tremendously, because while the whole department was freaking out and was saying, oh my God, how do we adapt to the online system? I was like, I got this. Because that quarter I was teaching real analysis. So what I did is at home, I would record my videos in front of a whiteboard and write lecture notes and incorporate the videos in the lecture notes. Very similar to the multivariable website I showed. And office hours were held via Zoom and YouTube. And as I said, YouTube was more popular. And the cool thing is there was even a former student at UCI who transferred to UCLA, and he was able to follow the course, you know, virtually, which was really cool. And he aced his class, so I think it worked. Not to flex. All right, now let me tell you a couple of other pros of YouTube, because you may wonder, why is my talk titled Spreading the Math? And in fact, let me start with a question for you. Any guesses what percentage of my subscribers are from the US? Only 20%. which means the rest of the 80% are from countries such as India, Germany, France, United Kingdom, Brazil, you name it. So you're literally spreading the math to the rest of the world. And not just that, people from all ages. I have some high school students who are very smart and want to get ahead who view my channels, but also retired high school math teachers who feel nostalgic and also watch my channel. And by the way, I have amazing email conversation with the latter, so they have amazing insight, I have to say. And also YouTube is valuable because it brings the math community together as a whole. I will talk more about this, but there's really this whole surge in math channels right now that just spread the math everywhere, which I think is amazing. Hopefully it'll continue like that. Another way of spreading the math is to collaborate with other people. So I have lots of collaborations with Black Pen, Red Pen, and also feature people from other channels on your channel. I did that a couple of times, which was also very nice. Last but not least, in terms of academia, if you have some very interesting research result you want to show, of course you can present it in seminars, but another cool idea is to do a YouTube video on this. That way people can watch it, which is nice. And in fact, let me tell you, my 100th video special is about the PDE that got me the PhD, which is the PDE for my thesis about chemical reactions. Definitely check it out. It's actually very cool. It's a nice pi-am differential equation. All right. Now let me talk a little bit about you, because you may probably wonder, how can you start your YouTube channel? What about you? And in fact, let me start with my recording setup. The cool thing is that there are different setups that are equally as effective. The one I'm using is for people who don't know technology, like me, and that's the simplest one. Literally, you need three things. A whiteboard, which you can buy on Amazon. They have it for $100. Great investment. Your phone, which hopefully a lot of people have a phone, and a tripod, which you can buy on Amazon for $60. And all you do, you put your phone on your tripod and record yourself. And that's a traditional setup. And the way it looks like is as follows.
All right, let's get stoked with Stokes' theorem. So today, I would like to present you the dark side of Stokes' theorem, where you use it to calculate a line integral.
And by the way, I do recommend showing your face. It does give a personal touch on it, but again, the other channels without faces are also amazing. So again, it's just my personal opinion. All right, if you're not so much of an in-person person, then there's also a virtual setup. And for this, all you need is some tablet, like Wacom tablet or iPad. If you're using Windows, a Microsoft Whiteboard, which is pre-installed, and a free program called OBS Studio to record yourself, which is, by the way, the program I'm using to record this talk. How meta is that? And a microphone, which is optional, but enhances your voice. And then you simply do your math on the Wacom tablet and record yourself, and the way it looks like is as follows.
Alright, thanks for watching and welcome to another tasty special, because today I will calculate the integral over a princess cake. In particular,
and finally, how do you upload? So easy, even pi-am can do it. Literally, once you have your video ready, you go to YouTube, click on create, and click on upload video. And that's it. Can you imagine? All right. Now, I hope I've kindled your interest. And in fact, if you do want to start your own channel, let me now share you some advice on how to do so.
all right,
First of all, if you think it's too late to start one, you're wrong. In fact, right now, it's the age of booming technology, and it's in fact the best time to start. And because, again, there's so many channels right now, and it's like this whole network of channels, which again makes it very, very popular. So definitely, if you want to start now. I hope this is a wake-up call for you. And also, just like solutions of ODEs with smooth functions, you are unique, and the goal in your YouTube channel is to make your personality stand out. For example, I'm a very quirky person, and my channel is very quirky. And don't worry, you will figure out what your personality is. I was also very confused at the beginning, so just start. And also, while YouTube may seem a daunting task, the important thing is to persevere, or persevere, okay? Because even if you think a video is not doing well, just keep uploading, and I promise you after a while, you will get noticed by YouTube. And related to this, I promise you, you will never know what video goes viral. In fact, there's so many times where I was like, yeah, this video, that's gonna be 1 million views. Did not happen. Okay? So really, I mean, it's also good life advice. Just post a video without figuring out if it's gonna be popular or not. Just do your job, and I promise again, one day you will post a viral video. And in fact, let me tell you the story of my most popular video, which is amazing, by the way. So potion low, fantastic method, okay? But I posted this video simply as little practice, and I thought it would get 1,000 views. And I woke up the next day after posting it and was like, what's going on? It has like 300,000 views. And now it's like 1.2 million. And again, I'm telling you, I was never like, this is gonna be the most popular one. It's very random. It's a random world, if you wish. Last but not least, let me give you some, sounds like depressing advice, but it's actually very good. Because even though I had my channel for 4 years and I have over 100,000 subs, not dollars, definitely not. Let me tell you what I would have done differently had I started my channel today. First of all, my issue was I didn't have a specific theme. And when you watch videos on how to YouTube, the first advice they tell you is have a theme and know your target audience. Know who you're posting videos for. In math, probably you're posting to undergrads or mathematicians. And in fact, let me tell you a good story about this. For like 3 months or so, I was posting linear algebra videos, and I attracted people who wanted to do linear algebra. But then I started posting pre-calculus videos, and those people were very disappointed. You have to understand, a subscription is almost just like a contract. Someone subscribes with the expectations that you will post, let's say, linear algebra. Make sure to fulfill that expectation. But if you do want to post 2 different things, I do recommend just make separate channels. That would work too. Right. Second mistake I've done, and if I still do that mistake, by the way, I didn't listen enough to my audience. So when you start posting videos, your audience will give you recommendations of what to post. Of course, you don't have to listen to every single comment, because that would drive you crazy, but definitely figure out some pattern. Let me tell you an example. I got at least 20 comments like 3 years ago saying I should post on differential forms. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Well, now it's too late. There's so many videos on differential forms, and I didn't grab the cow by the horns or something. Again, definitely listen to your audience, because again, they're the ones subscribing to you. Very important. Next advice, and that's more if you have, let's say, a bunch of subscribers, let's say 1,000 or 10,000. Well, YouTube is a science of its own, and you have to study that science. Or as my friend says, it's important to play the YouTube game. Because when you invest in the stock market, I hope you're not just investing into random stock. You're usually doing your research, see what's popular or not. Same with YouTube. You first have to do research a little bit on how YouTube works. And in fact, let me tell you something I learned actually very recently. Your video is only half as important. Okay? So even if you make the best video, it doesn't mean it'll go viral, because there's this other aspect you have to work on that you didn't think at first. What is this aspect? 3 things. You have to work on an amazing thumbnail, so this picture that captivates your audience. So it has to be catchy, but also the audience should expect what they're gonna watch. Second is the title. Should again be catchy, but should have some keywords so this audience knows what they expect. Finally, something that's often overlooked, which is the description, because that's where you can put some catchy words, or even some tags where the YouTube algorithm can also notice it. So definitely work on those 3 things. And in fact, when I work on a video, the video is maybe 20 minutes long, but the other part might take 3 hours. But promise you it'll be worth it. And finally, in terms of advice, you 2 years ago are not the same as you today. How do you expect YouTube to be the same, right? So YouTube back 2 years ago is not the same as YouTube today, and it's very important to go with the current trends. For example, integrals were very popular 3 years ago. Now they're not as popular. So now you have to figure out what else people like to watch. And as an example, right now, YouTube Shorts are very popular, which are just 1 minute, I would say, math cookie videos, kind of like TikToks. Let me show you an example to finish this talk. Again, a very nice way of presenting a math trick. And last but not least, I would like to finish this talk with another word from our sponsors.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed this talk, and if you have any other questions, feel free to email me or contact me on social media. And of course, if you like this and want to see more math, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed this talk, and as usual, if you like this and want to see more math, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.